Really concise terms about why Patrick Willis, who has not been selected to the Hall of Fame this cycle, is now officially a snub from the Hall of Fame. Wasn't sure after year one of eligibility last season. Now I'm absolutely sure because Zach Thomas, the former Miami Dolphins linebacker, is a Hall of Famer. And if you look at Patrick Willis's resume, he was in the NFL for 8 seasons, 5 first-time All-Pro selections, 7 Pro Bowl selections. And you look at Zach Thomas, who's now a Hall of Famer, he had the same exact amount of All-Pro selections, 5, and the same exact amount of Pro Bowl selections, 7. So you can argue that Zach Thomas showed a little bit more longevity, maybe waited a little bit longer to be inducted into the Hall of Fame. It was his 4th season on the ballot this year. And those arguments are fine. But that first one, you could blow a hole right through it with a third example, Calvin Johnson, who entered the NFL in 2007, the same year as Patrick Willis. Calvin Johnson also retired a little early, and I put early in quotes. Yet he accomplished less than Patrick Willis, 3 All-Pros, 6 Pro Bowls compared to Willis, 5 and 7. So 3 and 6 for Megatron, yet Megatron was a first ballot Hall of Famer. So it appears to me that Patrick Willis is getting the short end of the stick on both ends right here. He doesn't get in before Zach Thomas, and obviously Zach Thomas was eligible for a little bit longer. And he obviously doesn't get in before Calvin Johnson, who was a first ballot Hall of Famer, entered the league in the same year as Patrick Willis. I wonder why Patrick Willis is being penalized for retiring early while Calvin Johnson clearly wasn't. It looks like there is some anti-defensive bias here. Obviously, the offense seems to get a little bit more of the publicity. That's just the way that things work around most sports. But the whole Calvin Johnson example makes the whole Patrick Willis didn't play long enough argument seem like a farce. I'll also add this. Patrick Willis was dominant at linebacker as much the same way as Calvin Johnson was dominant at wide receiver, but he did it for longer. Patrick Willis had those, what was it, 7 Pro Bowls, 5 All-Pros. He had a 7-year stretch of dominance at linebacker. Calvin Johnson only those 6 Pro Bowls, 3 All-Pros. So Willis technically did it for longer, yet he was not a first ballot or a second ballot Hall of Famer. So let's see some consistency from this Hall of Fame selection committee. That's all that I ask, because Willis and Thomas have the same amount of accolades, but Willis did it in a shorter period of time, which to me shouldn't penalize him because it hasn't penalized somebody like Calvin Johnson before. Just my thoughts on the 49ers' Patrick Willis, who I believe should already be in the Hall of Fame. Next year will be his third year on the ballot. Then, based on Zach Thomas waiting 4 years, well, maybe Patrick Willis should wait only 3. We'll see. Take care.